all good.
We're live.
We're live, folks.
Hi.
Welcome to the Terror Dome. I need a sandwich during this.
Don't pick up.
Hello.
Oh.
Yo, I'm at
I'm going to Trader Joe's after this. I'm gonna get some beef and broccoli action going.
I had a big group of people behind me, Lucas and Cole people. So they're on their way. All right, I need to get my stuff set here.
Oh, they're like a dating couple. What are you doing? Sorry, honey. I have to go. I have Tuesday night teaching.
Thursday?
Tuesday night teaching.
Thursday teaching? No, that's a different thing.
Oh.
Time of school year.
How do you bring them? You don't want to be ridiculed. Get better at it.
I'm trying.
Like doing it.
You don't want to be ridiculed.
I
Not in
don't have.
public.
I don't have free time like you do.
Why are you doing it? What does that mean?
It means this is my one window to juggle.
What up? What up?
Lucas, give me my juggling orb.
Orb? He said orb. Give me my orb. I had a guy in line today recommend the chicken pesto.
Really?
Yeah, it's a nice guy. Nathan,
Wait,
shout
I
out.
always get chicken pesto.
He's never recommended it.
Just low key like here, yeah. Just like
Big name, Casey Musgrave's song in here.
I can actually go.
Wow, guys.
If that was-
Around here, living,
You're
you're
running out of my time, bro. They know. They've gotten on my golden hour. They were first. They were
I
first.
wish, dude.
Yeah.
I tell you, you did. You go.
You gotta do it in the right way, bro. You gotta do it in the right way.
I did exactly how you did.
He isn't any light skin.
Me? Certified.
What?
He said so.
What'd you
No,
say?
I did not. I said it. She said, "Is you in the
Wrong.
light skin era?" I was like,
No.
Are you in your light skin era? He said,
In no way was she talking about me.
You're not. Big news. You're not. Oh.
Wait, did you get a wrap and then get a sandwich?
No.
No?
I just saw that somewhere.
Did I misspeak earlier?
Like there was a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, dang, dude, you're balling.
Use the bathroom.
Can I get that?
Fast forward in the video.
I'm gonna eat beef and
Eat this
broccoli.
in the next 2 minutes and then we start.
Oh, that was almost so cool.
Are you?
We should fake it sometime where I'm like, you're all
Jack,
like,
catch.
whoa, he's juggling so good now. Oh my
Jack,
God.
throw.
Add it in later.
All right, ready?
Fix it in post.
Strike.
I lost that in the light, bro.
Scary.
That was so close.
Chloe!
Oh my god.
Hey,
How we doing?
got
I
it.
think I'm
I haven't
always
seen it
right.
in a long
I don't
time.
know.
Oh my.
I literally
Far outside.
Okay, good.
He's so weird.
Let's ball.
I'm just kidding. I'm ready for you.
You ready?
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah, what'd you get?
I got an arm.
Jack.
I'm
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
This week's gonna be good.
What?
Next week's
I
gonna
don't
be,
wanna miss that,
for
bro.
this group,
Yo, you should never get burgers at
the
the
most
grill.
important.
You're
Well,
so
Switching
well,
up the
well,
semester. The next Tuesday.
Terrace.
Where do I get it?
Terrace.
Okay.
Terrace isn't even that good either.
Make it happen.
I mean, I
Go
think
for a
I
nice
can
walk.
I'm doing a sister.
If you go to the grill, you gotta get the golden slice.
Your business empire is expanding.
Huh?
Your business empire is expanding.
You got this?
Yeah.
Huh?
I'll prefer if I finish
That's what I'm saying.
I'll
Don't get a burger.
qualify for the outfield. And then also have, you know,
Alright.
yeah.
I'm losing.
Should be with it.
I'm losing it in the light. Sorry.
Wait,
Karen, can I get that orb?
No.
a fusilli?
No.
Oh,
Hey, speaking
A
of Fusilli.
There you go.
What? What?
So,
What did you say?
Danny's here.
Hey, money.
Danny had a midterm. Danny, how was your midterm?
You need to hit that.
What was it on?
Yeah, Danny's very smart. Of course it was good.
Danny, what was it on?
This is beautiful campus.
Oh, easy. Steel, strongest.
It is.
No, vibranium is. Little Marvel reference.
There we go.
Little Black Panther reference.
Wood, mid tier. No, I know this. Bricks are the strongest. Wood, middle. Straw's the worst.
Cody hates termites.
What's it called?
Jack,
Bedrock.
can't break that.
Good job.
Can't break that unless we go into a creative mode, which is
Mozzarella's
code
not
for
very
LSD.
Chicken solid. Pesto. Very good. Wow.
It's a strike. That right there, that's a strike.
You're making everyone. Everyone's like flinched.
You're making the room less safe.
Can I go?
Oh yes. But
Let's see it. Oh, snap.
Nice hands, feet.
Fancy?
Whoa, whoa.
snap!
Oh!
Wine note.
With the snap.
Okay. I got.
I ate in South Station the other day. It was the worst ever.
What?
Try it again.
Oh
Boston?
my gosh. Wait,
I
Chloe.
was thinking.
So Nate, like, we're going on this double,
You went to South Station?
and this girl goes, the girl and the other couple goes, let's go to Tavern in the Square.
Oh,
Whoa.
And then they're like, let's go to the one in South Station.
Too normie.
It's like a little like bar in the middle of the walkway. Let's not go here. Let's go to the stand right there. And I got like a bacon, egg, and cheese, and it's stuffed.
Wait, did you listen to their conversation and copy them?
Ooh.
No, they were.
I was on a
he
double.
with them. He was on a double date. I was there with you.
I was like, why are we here?
I like their.
Why are we like this little stand? I was like, why am I here?
I like
I gotta roll it. Alright, how's that looking? That's better. I'm gonna close it.
I'm ready to flee the country and get rid of a headache.
Not gonna lie, guys, that sandwich gave me life. I need to go.
Me, personally, Jesus gives me life, but
Okay.
each their own.
We're gonna start now. I promise. Who's in the chat?
Who
Who is it? I'm gonna guess that it's Sarah. Oh, it is. No, swap with work. But if you're watching, how are you gonna work? Think about it.
Oh.
Sarah on
You still have time to come to Woo. This is happening in real time. I saw Sarah twice today. And I told her if she sees me 3 times in different spots on the same day, she gets to make a wish. So she's withholding a wish currently. That's how I work. How we doing? We like back in the rhythm a little bit, back in the saddle. Feeling good about life. The best students we've ever been. Thriving, moisturized,
I feel
hydrated.
very hydrated.
Wow. Proud of you guys.
5 out of 10.
You wouldn't understand. 5 out of 10? Already? That's tough. Close at a 5. Who here is at we get thumbs if you're at a 7.
I'm like a 5.
7.
8s? Any 8s?
What's the scale?
How vibes? How you doing?
What's this?
Overall vibe, are you like an 8 out of 10? 8 out of 10?
8 out of 10.
Shiny said an 8 because she's had a birthday, so she's in good spot. Can I get an 8.5? 8.5? 8.5 unencumbered?
8.5.
9?
Oh yeah.
How's your thumb? How's your thumb?
Linguistics is a 9.
Oh, that was good.
Thumb's good. Susan's thumb alert is doing great. We're gonna do a weekly Susan thumb check-in from this point on. 10? No 10s, right?
No.
Okay, good. If it was a 10, you'd have to do the lesson. All right, should we just get into it? I'm gonna do a little recap here. But first, can somebody pray?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Nate's gonna pour it.
Nate, go for it.
Yeah, right. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for having us all here, Lord. God, I pray you can, God, have us refocus, get back in the rhythm. Lord, I pray you be with Josh tonight as he runs us through the scriptures and the word, Lord. You can be flowing throughout. God, I love you. I need you. In Jesus' name,
Amen.
Amen.
Run you through the scriptures. That's really all I'm doing here, folks.
That's not-
just riffing through as fast as we possibly can. Quick recap. This is week 7 out of 13, 14, I don't know how many. We're about halfway through, which is crazy. We're about halfway through the semester, which is also crazy. We started off our time together talking about losers, talking about salt and light, the definition of what it means to be in the kingdom and like God's people. We talked about obedience as resistance, that we actually are here to fulfill the law and not disobey the law. But in fulfilling the law, like there's a righteousness beyond righteousness. We're talking about all that stuff. If you're confused or you forgot, just go back. It's all on the YouTube machine. We talked about sin, we talked about hate, we talked about victimization, and tonight we're going to talk about secrets, which is pretty fun.
Ooh, secret.
Secrets are no fun unless you are a part of one. Here's what Jesus has talked about in chapter 5. So the first third of the Sermon on the Mount. He talks about a new present reality called kingdom. He's not talking about life in the future or after death. He's talking about life right now. But there's actually a new way of living right here, right now. That's it's mixed in with the life that you've known, right? There's life which is messy and hard and mostly bad, but then there's this other thing. And it's mixed in, like yeast in a dough, or seed in the ground, or treasure in a field. It's like a lot of different stuff. And this includes the least likely people, the people you would never, ever expect. Not the most religious people, not the most, spiritually hardcore, but the normies, the losers, right? But it starts with relationship with Jesus. Kingdom people are salt and they're light, and you're actually more righteous than the Pharisees in how you live. It's not just about what you do, it's about what's going on in your heart. It goes beyond action, and Jesus imagines new possibilities in the face of sin. Usually when violence happens, what's the response? Normally.
Violence.
More violence. And then what?
Violence.
More violence. And then what?
Violence.
Yeah.
More violence. There's no trick questions tonight, I promise you. More and more violence. Lies usually create more lies, right? Deceit, stealing usually just creates more and more of the same. Jesus says, actually, in the face of sin, when you get wronged, there's a new thing that can happen. When I'm disrespected, I can respond in respect. When I'm hurt, I can respond in love, dignity, honor, hope, reconciliation. And in that moment, like we talked about last time, you don't have to be a victim anymore. Victims don't have to stay victims. They can actually become victors, which is just alliteration. And enemies become family. The person who hurt you is not just the thing that they did anymore. Instead, they're your brother, your sister. There you go. We're moving into a new phase here where we just talked about sin for like 2 weeks. There's a lot of like all the negativity that's in the world and how Jesus comes to transform that. Now we're going to start talking about like what kingdom is actually like, how you live in kingdom, the stuff you're supposed to do. Big quote. And I know this is not a list of things that you're supposed to do, but ride with me. We're talking about secrets tonight. So, question for us to get started. Will a relationship with Jesus, nice. Would a relationship with Jesus ultimately boost or damage your reputation? What do you think? This question is exactly as specific and vague as I intend for it to be, just so you know.
I think for me, when I became a Christian, it very much depended on the group.
Huh.
So among the church folk, it was a boost.
The good churched folk.
The good churched folk. I think among friends, it wasn't a damage, but it was definitely a question. And I think for some people it was a very direct damage. Yeah, I think it kind of depended on the group for me. Like it could have been a boost, it could have been a damage based on how people heard that word, like Christian or with Jesus. Yeah.
You attach yourself to that name, and some people are like, good. And some people are like, I don't trust you anymore. That usually comes with red hats and bad intentions. Other thoughts? Does becoming a Christian boost or hurt your reputation?
When I talked to my dad about my faith, it was really hard, and I think there's still a bit of healing to be done. Anyway, I think the focus of that is, I guess he thought I was abandoning logic in my own kind of, sense for something that he didn't see, right? He didn't really believe in. So he thought that I was showing some kind of cult. I don't think he does anymore, but he thinks that being a disciple can just be a compartment of your life, not your whole life. As in like that, I'm not saying be a pastor, no. But for him, it seems just going to church, that's what he's a Christian. Just going through a building where you sit down, you stand up, you sit down, you stand up, and you sing sometimes. He's a Christian. And when I tried to explain that to him, his ears were open, but his mind was not.
It's intense. Thank you for sharing that. Right? Even some people we're closest to just don't understand, what are you doing? Right? Because they have a certain perception of what faith is or what relationship with Jesus means. They're going to think really negatively about that whole situation. Other folks have had a great experience with Jesus, and they're like, great, I've been waiting for you to figure it out. Sarah actually said here, right, that it just depends on that person's own view of faith and relationship with Jesus, right? Depends on where they're coming from. Some people are going to love it, some people aren't. Question within the question, though, is your reputation with who, right? Overall, if I was a public figure, so to speak, if I had 1,000, no, more than that, a million people following me on Instagram or something?
27.8 million.
27.8 million. Maybe you've seen this. You've seen celebrities come out and they're like, now I'm super Christian. And you go through the comments and it's like, no, right? Like people hate it. And other folks are like, finally, I've been praying for you ever since your second album dropped. And I knew it was always like, Kanye, right? Like Kanye had that arc. We saw this arc. And I was on the wrong side of history at that point because I was like, listen, if we don't believe Kanye can repent and become a Christian, then like we don't believe the gospel. If if a guy like this who's said and done some wild stuff can't do it, turns out it was probably a stunt, or maybe it wasn't, maybe it didn't stick, who knows, right? But some people got super into it, some people not so much. Some people still bump that album, some people have written him off entirely for pretty good reasons, not gonna lie. It all depends on the person's experience of it. And here's another question, follow-up question. What are some experiences in your guys' lives, some areas where obeying Jesus has come into conflict with your reputation? Where obeying Jesus actually like compromised or hurt your reputation? I feel like you're doing one. Yeah, go ahead.
It was like a conversation. I was doing one of my friends here, and he was like, you used to talk a lot. Like, you used to go out so much. Like, you used to be like the life of the party. And I was like, well,
You're still the life of the party, but it's a different party.
Yeah, and me and another friend was there, and we were just looking at each other. And I was like, well, yeah, because like I have a relationship with God now, so I just act different. But they're like, I miss the old you. And then I was like,
She misses the old Kanye, straight from the soul Kanye.
yeah, basically we just missed crazy Kanye.
That's 2 Kanye references. There will be 3 tonight. Don't worry.
And I was just like,
It's intense, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I really liked the old you. So why do you feel like you needed to change? There's questions that come up, right? Yeah. What does that mean about me? Do I have to change? That's a good question. Shanti.
I had friends, like old friends. I'm not really friends with them anymore, but I lost those friends sometimes. Well, even between the friendship, like once they found out like I was a Christian, like they wouldn't like invite me to something. I think like, oh, she's too godly to be around.
They make some assumptions about like,
Yeah.
oh, she's probably really self-righteous now, and oh, like all we're gonna hear is Jesus stuff, so let's not even bother, right?
Yeah, and like I didn't even like say anything like, oh, like come to church. I never said anything like that, but it was like, just like a normal friendship. But since they thought like I wasn't that cool, it's like that big. Well, it's alright because I didn't like what they do. They only like to hang out like in bars and all that stuff.
But it hurts to like get excluded.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, like feels like I have to choose all of a sudden. I didn't want to have to choose, but now I feel like I have to. One of the favorite things that happens is people who, they don't know what I do, they don't know who I am, and we're talking, we're joking, they're like cussing up a storm or something, and then they're like, oh, what do you do for work? I'm like, I'm a pastor. They're like, oh, sorry. There's a lot of apologizing that happens, and I'm like, you're fine. Like, I'm not gonna like call down fire from heaven because you said a bad word. But people have this perception, right, of like, oh, like I gotta put on kid gloves around you because you're a Christian. So I don't want to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. People will start acting really stiff around you. That might be one of the results. Reputation is just a reality of life. That's what I'm hitting on here. Is that the way we're viewed matters. Like I'm not gonna do the thing of like, doesn't matter what anyone thinks of you, just live your truth. No, like that there's real consequences when people don't trust you, when people associate you with hurt or hate, right? You might say Christian, people think, oh, you're really intolerant. Oh, you're really hateful. You're really judgmental and critical. And so if that's what people think of us, well, that's also what they think of our Lord. And so there's work we're going to have to do on our reputation within that. Now, there's the flip side of the coin. If we're doing everything for our reputation, if we're doing everything so that people notice us and like us, we've also lost the battle. And that's kind of what I think I want to talk about tonight, what Jesus hones in on here. I think there's places like, I'm just thinking about the religious world. There were Christians that I knew who liked me less and I had a worse reputation with the more I became like Jesus. Isn't that weird? Right? It's like when I stand up for stuff of like, guys, I don't think we should joke like that anymore. Amongst Christians, they're like, okay, Mr. Pharisee, calm down, right? It's weird. It's a weird feeling of like, or how about this? This is how it's always been done. This is how we do it. When you actually, I'm not sure if that's how Jesus would do it. They're like, whoa, but that's our culture. That's who we are. It's our identity, right? Maybe you had the experience of conventional wisdom. This is just like, this is the best way to do things. This is the culture that we've set up. And then you stand up against that culture and you're like, oh, I think there's going to be conflict for a little bit, right? Let me show you. Matthew 6, verse 1. Jesus talks all about reputation here for a few verses. And then he talks about wealth. That's going to be fun. We're not going to talk about wealth tonight. I cannot wait. It's the part of the Sermon on the Mount that I've been dying to do since before the semester. But that's not until next week, right? Chloe's bringing a friend from SoCo, and that's cool. Anyways, Matthew 6, verse 1, Jesus says, be careful not to practice your righteousness, your right living, in front of others, to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets. Don't put it on social media, right? Gave out 5 sandwiches today, #blessed. So when you, right, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the street to be honored by others, truly I tell you, they've received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Let's keep moving here. And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. They use their hands, I guess, a whole lot. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. When you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like the pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Don't be like that, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Jesus is going to hit on a lot of practices here. Prayer, giving. We're talking about fasting here in a little bit, which is also a fun one. And he's not really talking about how you do it, but who you're doing it for. There's a tension between wanting God's approval and wanting human approval. Problem is we live in a self-promotion, self-preservation culture, right? Even if you're not like a self-promoter, we live in a culture of self-promoters, of people who just want a few more followers, a few more likes, a few more clicks, right? A few more dollars. I got to put myself out there and let people know what I'm about for my brand, for my identity, for my reputation. It's a problem, right? The problem is it's all outward and performative and shallow. I saw a video probably a couple weeks ago where some social media influencer girl, whatever, and she's responding to a comment that's like, you're such a natural beauty. And she's like, if you think any of this is natural, I got this done, this done, this done, this done. I'm wearing contacts right now. My hair's fake. Like, it's all fake. And she's like, but you guys all believe it's real. I'm putting on all of this stuff to project an image. I want you to think I'm this, but I'm not really this. And people do that physically, but they do it way more morally and socially and emotionally. We virtue signal, right? We post my favorite is people during Black History Month, they post an MLK quote on their social media, but like they've never read any of MLK's like work or sermons or like listened to any of his stuff. They just know like his name's on a lot of street corners, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, I just know that's like a really good person that like I should project that like I'm an ally and I'm a whatever. Like, it doesn't actually mean anything.
The black square.
What? Oh, the black square. That was a personal favorite, right? The black square. I'm on the right side of history here. I'm a good person, but my life doesn't reflect any of that stuff. I can post it, but not actually do any of it. I can take a picture in front of the protest, but then I'm not calling my congressman. I'm not writing letters. I'm not serving the poor. I'm not doing all the things that are actually the work of enacting real change. It's performative. It's not about hiding your good deeds, but it's about not doing it for the wrong people, right? It's interesting. What he says here, I think it's verse 1. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you'll have no reward from your Father in heaven. He doesn't say don't practice your righteousness. He says just don't do it in front of people. Don't do it for people in order to be seen by them. Now that's in direct contrast with Matthew 5:14, right? Let your light shine on a hill. Let everyone see your good deeds so that they'll worship your Father in heaven. Like, it's good to do good things, and it's good to do it publicly, right? If you give, if you maybe see somebody homeless on the side of the road, you want to give them a couple bucks, but my friends are right there, so I can't give them any money. Bummer, gotta hide my good deeds. Or I have to like let them walk ahead and be like, don't tell anyone. No, right? It's a good thing to love and serve people and to do good deeds. But who are you doing it for? Who's your audience? Are you hyper aware of who's watching you whenever you're doing anything? Whenever you try to say the right thing or do the right thing? Who do you hope sees you? And why do you hope they see you? What reward are you looking for? I'm going to do this thing or say this thing or make this like witty observation because I want everyone to tell me how smart I am, right? Or how funny I am, or how spiritual I am, or what a good Christian I am. I don't know if this is like a huge thing in our culture. I don't see anyone really putting on. I'm not reading any. I'm just reading because it's the next thing in the Sermon on the Mount. But I don't really see this in our culture as a huge deal. But I know it's in our hearts. I want to be perceived as a good Christian. I know for my part, I want to be perceived as a good minister. I want people to look at my work, my family, my marriage, you guys, and go, yeah, he's a good one. He's one of the good ones. And that has taken on different meanings in different parts of my life. Being one of the good ones used to mean that, wow, he baptizes a lot of people. He makes a lot of Christians. That was the identifier of a good one. And then it was, oh, he teaches really well. He's a really good preacher, a really good teacher. Or he values the right things, not the wrong things. Suddenly it was about not making Christians. It was like, oh, he's not so obsessed with making Christians. That means he's a really good minister. The target constantly moves and changes. And this is the real issue with trying to be seen by men, is that men and women, like men lie, people lie, Paul don't lie, right? People change. This doesn't change. People want you right now to really, really care about, I don't know, Ukraine, Palestine, different political like policies and legislation that's coming through. And that's all important stuff. None of that stuff is wrong or bad. But in 3 months, they're really going to care about something else. And if you don't show up and perform and say the right things about that, now you're a bad guy. And then 3 months later, it'll be something else. Men and women have a moving target. God doesn't have a moving target. God's very clear and direct about what he wants from us. He wants a relationship. He wants us to do it for him. The trick is, right again here, if you do, you'll have no reward from your Father in heaven. God's so good. He knows that when we do things for people and not for him, he's not going to intrude where he's not wanted. Right? Hey, if you want to get praised by people, go for it. But I'm not going to step into a place where I'm not wanted. Right? You will get that praise from people. And that's it. If you can live off that, more power to you. If you're trying to live off of like rice cakes, you're trying to live off of like sugary sweets, Airheads, or whatever, right? You can get a little buzz off that, a little sugar high, but you can't live off that. It's not nutritious. Praise from men feels good. I'm not gonna lie about that. It feels amazing, but it's not nutritious. It doesn't fill up the thing in our souls that we desperately need, that only God can reward us with. If it's for people, God will oblige you. And this happens most often in religion. This doesn't really happen amongst not religious people. This is specifically for people who are trying to obey God. People who aren't trying to obey God don't give to the poor or pray or fast. Why would they ever do that stuff? Maybe if they fast, they're doing it for like nutritional value, right? For us, we're trying to do these God-shaped, God-centered things, but so often we're doing it because we want people to think that we're good Christians, that we're the right kind of Christian. So we have clever spiritual responses. When we pray, we say things like, I'm going to do a good one, right? Make sure it's a good prayer versus what other kind of prayer? A bad prayer? Oh, stinker prayer, 3 out of 10, right? I speak for a living. And every once in a while, people will be like, not your best. And I'm like, how am I supposed to feel about that, right? Or it's, it's even worse though, is people go like, that was one of your good sermons. I'm like, as opposed to what? Like, but we think this way. We're surrounded by consumers, and we are consumers often. And so we think about pleasing people. We think about doing it the right way or the best way or getting the most bang for our buck. We scrap for positions. We scrap for reputation. We want everyone to know all the good things that we've done. And when Jesus calls people like that is hypocrites, right? Don't announce it with trumpets like the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets. A little bit later, they love to pray. Oh, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. The Greek word is hypocrites, right? Sometimes Greek is easy. Do you guys know who these people were, the hypocrites, the hypocrites? It's a specific working class of people. This is so cool. I'm so excited to give this to you. They're actors. It's a Greek word for actor. Professional stage performers were hypocrites. So knowing what you know of the word hypocrite and knowing what you know about actors, why would he call these people bad actors? What are they doing when they're doing this stuff?
Well,
they're pretending.
They're pretending, exactly. Like, anybody ever seen I don't know, like Lion King on Broadway, or I don't know, Aida, or some stage performance?
No.
I've seen some stage performance, and I've also been a dancer for 19 years.
Not bad.
Yeah.
19 years? That's
They tell
impressive.
I was Donkey and Shrek Jr.
Oh, you're Donkey and Shrek Jr.?
Yeah.
Now, can I ask you a tough question?
Yeah.
Are you actually a comedic donkey?
No.
No. So in that moment, you were being false. You were lying.
Okay, yeah.
You were lying to America.
I was 6.
Nate was
I
6
just
years
6.
old and lying to America.
Sin, bro.
Right? The people on stage are not actually who they say they are. And we walk in knowing that, right? We're not like, you're not actually Harry Potter? What in the world, Daniel Radcliffe? Some people think Daniel Radcliffe is
It's
actually Harry
like
Potter.
the Nutcracker. I've been to the Nutcracker like ballet version.
Right. That these people, maybe they are doing beautiful things. They're
Yeah.
dancing beautifully. They're singing beautifully.
They ain't nutcrackers.
But they ain't actually nutcrackers. They're actually tiny rats on toy soldiers, right? Like, and we know this, and that's part of the
No.
appeal.
Well,
Here's
there is too-
Here's what's super interesting about this specific type of theater. If you've ever been to a stage performance, they have microphones, costumes, makeup, the whole deal. Back then, they didn't have like microphones and stuff, right? So you'd be in this gigantic amphitheater, and in order for people to, one, hear you, and two, see your face, you would talk super loud, you'd be shouting the entire time, and you'd wear this like crazy makeup and make these huge expressions and like, because the people in the cheap seats need to be able to see and hear what you're feeling, right? So you'd way over exaggerate in a way that you would never do, like here and now. In fact, if you saw like a real stage performer today, you walked up to them right after the show and you saw them in their makeup, they would look freaky. Even somebody who's supposed to be beautiful on stage, it's like this highly exaggerated makeup that's like kind of scary actually, because actors are not meant to be seen up close. They're meant to be seen from a distance.
They also convince other people that they're the real thing in a way.
Yeah, they're trying to convince you. They're trying to play your emotions and manipulate you and get
Like
you to
that's
feel
what it
things.
means to be faithful.
Right.
Because they're being loud and so on. And that's what they.
Maybe you've been in the situation at a camp or a retreat or something, and someone shares this like very polished, very performed, heartbreaking testimony because they're trying to elicit an emotional reaction. They're trying to get people to cry and feel something. It's pretty gross. Now, there's sincere things that happen like that. People are sincerely pouring out their hearts and there's emotional reaction. But if you were to find out that like someone shared this incredibly powerful testimony and they were like, oh yeah, I made all that up. Yeah, I was trying to get some people to cry. You'd throw up. You'd be like, are you kidding me? You're
Has that
disgusting.
happened
You
to
really
you,
get
though?
inside.
That has happened. I have seen and heard things. I'll put it that way.
Oh.
And the reason why is I want everyone to think I'm great. I want everyone to think I'm awesome. And then they're like, actually, none of that happened. And, well, it happened, but not quite like that. And I kind of exaggerate. These things do happen, especially in the religious world. We gotta be extra, extra careful that it doesn't happen to us. Hypocrites want to be seen, but they want to be seen from a distance. They don't want to be seen up close. Because if somebody was up close to their life and walked with them day after day, they'd see, oh, it's all fake. Oh, it's all performance. But when I see a guy just on Sunday and he's loud and he's singing loudly and he's like, can't wait to give my $10,000 to the Pope, like my 100,000, whatever it is, I can build an assumption off that person and then never see them Monday through Saturday. It's a hypocrite. And I've been a hypocrite. You've been a hypocrite. We have all acted in our lives. But Jesus is saying, don't be that. Don't be so focused on other people that you miss out on your audience of one, who is God. Let's jump back really quick. Verse 3. I'm going to read it again here. He talks about giving to the poor. Yeah, verse 3 and 4. When you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Interesting language here. That do these things secretively. Do these things in quiet, almost in hiding. What do you think he means when he says that? To be secret.
Between you and God. It's not between
on other people.
That other people don't factor into the equation. I did this good thing. I didn't care if anyone saw me or if everyone saw me, right? Because sometimes there's times where we know we're supposed to do the right thing and we don't do it because of who's watching us, right? Everyone's gossiping about this person. I don't want to stand up for them, but I need to. I'm not doing that because I want everyone to like me. I know everyone's going to hate me for saying this. But I'm doing it for God, not for them, not even for myself. He talks about not letting your left hand know what your right hand is doing. He's using a metaphor here. But have you ever done the right thing and not even realized that you did it? Because it was just the right thing to do. You didn't have to think about it or weigh it out. Or go, oh, okay, what's this going to cost me? You just did it. It's an amazing feeling. And you realize afterwards, maybe somebody calls your attention to it of like, wow, that was a really nice thing you said. And you're like, oh, yeah, I guess it was. Okay. Some good deeds are a secret even from yourself. That is what Jesus is getting at. Make your righteousness, make your goodness, make your honesty and your love for people so instinctual, so obvious in your mind that you don't even have to like think about it. You don't have to weigh it out or decide if it's the right thing to do. It's a secret even from you. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Right? It goes from how is this going to look to wait, someone was looking? What? I wasn't even thinking about that. It was just the right thing to do. Right? If you've ever you finish a really good meal and then you start cleaning up everybody's dishes. Some of us do that because it's like my mom's going to freak out if I don't do this. And sometimes you do it because you're just like, it's just what you're supposed to do next. I wasn't even thinking about it. I just started piling plates. People are like, thank you so much. And you're like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, don't even pay attention to that. Like, don't mention it, right? That's the thing we say. Oh, don't mention it, right? Because we don't want that praise. We don't need that praise. It was just the right thing to do. This is what Jesus is calling us to do. Verse 5 and 6 talks about prayer. When you pray, don't be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. When you talk to God, who's it for? Especially publicly. Charlie kind of put me on the spot, right? Of like, what if you had done this like, very like, oh Lord, Father of all. Like if you'd done this like very stiff prayer, we'd all be thinking about it right now. None of us were thinking like, wow, good prayer, Nate, I hope. But we do this sometimes, right? You get called on to pray for dinner or whatever, and it's like, all rise, or all bow. What am I supposed to do? Should I put my hands? What do I do with my hands, right? We start doing all this stuff. We get extremely weird about prayer. If there's a single place that Christians get the weirdest, it's not about money, it's not about sex, it's not about marriage, it's about prayer. I've seen more Christians get more weird about prayer than anything else, and that stinks because it should be the bedrock of our relationship with God.
Can you give us a story?
Dude.
Please.
Okay, I'll give you one. Dallas. I was in Dallas for a mission trip in the summer, in July, blazing hot sun. And it's early on in this mission trip group, and everyone's kind of feeling each other out. And really early on, we're outside, we're in the service. It was like, hey, can we pray before we walk into this thing? And this guy was like, my moment. He's like, I got it. And we all link up arm in arm. And it's like 2009. And so we're all just wearing like baggy shirts. Yeah. And everything's like thick polyester.
Yeah.
Come on.
Everyone's
chunky.
And he's like, I got at least 6 or 7 minutes in me. So he just starts going. He's praying about like everything. He's praying about like anything you could possibly imagine. And we're just dripping sweat. And we're like, I'm like, everyone like feel like about to pass out from heat stroke. And we're like, dude, wrap it up. What in the world? And like everyone's dripping, and then it finally ends, and everyone kind of looks at him like, dude, seriously? Like people are like tapping him on the shoulder, like, hey, wrap it up. And he kind of wouldn't. And at the end, he's like, good prayer, man. I'm like, dude, seriously? I was like a bunch of teenagers, but oh my God, I remember being so mad at him in that moment. Not because he prayed sincerely and we all got sweaty, but because it was so insincere and so fake and put on and polished. And then by the end of that week, he worked through a lot of that stuff. And he was like, sorry, I've been trying to like look good. It ends up being a pretty good story. We get so weird about prayer. What are you doing when, not a trick question, what are you doing when you pray?
Talk to God.
You're talking to God, right? It's the frameworks, the language we like to use. How would you talk to your mom or your best friend? You wouldn't be like, if I saw Charlie this morning, we got coffee, I'd be like, "Dear Charlie, hallowed be your name. I want to ask you, like in this very stiff and formal way. I wouldn't I wouldn't say 3 compliments about you and then thank you for some things and then ask for something and then confess my sins. That would be very formal and stiff. And Charlie would be like, "Are you okay? Are you having a stroke right now? Like, what is this?" Right? It'd be weird. I beg you guys to not get weird about prayer. To find ways to speak to God in the most honest and instinctual and raw and informal ways. To talk to God as if you're talking to your dad or your mom or your brother or Kylie, right?
Shout out Kylie.
Let's go, Kylie.
When you talk to your best friend, are you honest? Not a trick question, by the way. I'll ask again. When you guys talk to your best friend, are you honest?
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Do you share your real life with them?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you laugh?
Yeah.
I hope so. Do you cry? Sometimes, right? Sometimes,
It's happened.
sometimes, right?
It's happened.
But when you get real, sometimes it's emotional, right? Do you, with your best friend, right? Do you very carefully, like, I gotta frame this just the right way and say all the right stuff? I gotta make sure it's like a good conversation. No, you're just yourself around them. That's why they're your best friend. Hopefully you have that relationship with your mom and dad, or with a sister, or with a brother, right? This is who I can truly be myself with. This is what Jesus is facing against in the first century. People who are talking at God, but not talking to God. Relationship with God does not show up in these prayers. They're babbling, right? Like the pagans do. They're just talking, and none of it means anything. And God doesn't have to be present for any of this. They're just going to talk anyways. I'm sure you've had a conversation with someone like this that you're like, I could leave the room and they would just keep going, right? That is sort of what he's getting at here. In intimacy, in an intimate relationship with your Father, with God, you shut out the noise and everything else just melts away, right? Oh, I could talk to this person for 20 hours. Maybe somebody you're like, oh, I could just tell them anything, right? That is a relationship with God. That's prayer. Everything short of that is just babbling, right? So don't get weird. The number one thing I would urge you to do is just don't be weird, right? A few things here. Demanding question for us. Who are you hoping sees you? What audience are you performing for, right? Is it really all about God? Or is it like, I want my ministers to know that I'm trustworthy, so I gotta, right? Oh, that's the pastor. I gotta be extra good around him or her. I hope you guys don't feel that way about me. Lord knows I've said and done enough stupid things you have to feel that way about me, right? Or, oh man, I just want to be seen as a good Christian, right? Talk about keeping secrets from yourself, self-removal to a point where I don't even realize what a good thing I'm doing because it's just natural. Don't be weird in prayer. And then this is a key thing. You can study it out on your own. Psalm 91 talks about the secret place. I long to dwell in the secret place. Some translations call it like the refuge of God, the dwelling place of God. My favorite translation is the secret place of God. That this is a place where something sacred happens. That prayer pulls me out of the world and into God's presence. I'm in an entirely different reality when I pray. That's what a good prayer is in my life. It's a prayer where I feel completely detached from my stresses and my worries in the world. I'm able to be fully myself and fully present before God. The point of good prayer, the point of the secret place, is to prepare you for life. We pray to prepare ourselves for real life, right? I'm going to go into a temple, so to speak, a dwelling place, whether that's in your closet or in your car or in your bedroom or just walking around campus. And I pray, I set my mind and my intentions before God so that when I have to go back out into the real world, I've been transformed. I'm bringing God out into reality with me. Babblers aren't talking to God. They're talking to anybody. Maybe they're talking to themselves, right? They're spinning and they're only thinking about themselves. They're trying to skip relationship and use God to get what they want, right? I'm going to pray for this thing so I can get what I want. That's babbling. This is what we're talking about. We talk about the secret place. Let's have a little breather here. Weird question. How could you be a secret and a public Christian at the same time? How would you be secret and public in your Christianity? Good agua.
What?
It's a weird question, right?
Like secret as in like not Christian, right?
No.
See-
Like still be a Christian but like living it in secret. Like you're like if I see you Sunday, like what we do
Sorry, guys.
Monday in your room. Like, Tuesday,
Seems like there's some confusion. Nate?
Oh crap. Yeah, go ahead.
Nate, do a good one.
No, I kind of just like thinking about what you said about the placemats thing of the getting people's dishes.
Mm.
Kind of like that of like you just do it like you're a public Christian in the sense of like you're just doing it to please God and like people know about your faith. But then you also have that like secret like intimate relationship with God that like keeps you going, and it's not your public Christian isn't you going around like to show people that.
Absolutely. There's
both.
you live in the real world. Absolutely. I'm living in the real world, but the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is maybe not immediately apparent, even to myself. Any other thoughts on this? It's a tricky question.
The first thing came to mind was like hiding in plain sight. Like, I don't know why. Like, because you can't be a private Christian. Like, I think it's interesting that word's not up there. Like, because it's not being a Christian. You can't just be isolated. Like, it's just not possible. But like when you hide in plain sight, it's like you're public. You're with the people. You're there, but like you don't care if they know or not. Like Jesus says in by your love they'll know you're my disciples. So like the mark of a Christian in like the defining mark isn't their actions, it's their love. And so, when you hide in plain sight, I like this because it goes with secret. You love people and you do these things, but people don't notice because you're doing those things. People notice because of the fruit of that.
Yes. They're not noticing what you're doing. They're noticing what happens out of it, the fruit, the response of it. I love that. Yeah, Suj.
Kind of going off of that, like I feel like if you're a secret Christian, like the more you become a secret Christian, the more you can become a public Christian. Just because you focus so much on like what is important, that like when the fruit bears, it's like outward and like public.
That's really interesting. It's almost like the less I care about doing the right thing and making sure everyone sees I'm doing the right thing, the better I get at doing it. Right? The less I care about framing the truth just the right way for people, the more honest I get. Interesting. This is really good. Shanti, last one.
Well, I was going to say kind of the same thing, but it's just like I feel like sometimes like when you do stuff in secret, it could still be revealed in public.
That's fair.
Yeah, because what you do in secret can come out like that and something, like it will be revealed by God.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you do good works.
It's spot on. Good things and bad things, right? The very things I have done in secret that are selfish, greedy, sinful, that gets exposed. There's things that I've done, not trying to do it for anybody. This is just the right thing to do. And somehow I didn't think anybody was watching me. And that gets exposed. It's crazy how the less you think about yourself, the more open you are with your faith. The more you talk about it, the more you live it out. It's almost this like paradoxical relationship with yourself. The key word here is integrity. It's where we get the word integer. Does anybody know what an integer is?
It's a whole number.
It's a whole number. A whole life. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the best one. A whole number. A whole life, a holistic life, a life that looks the same no matter which audience you're in front of, no matter where you are in your life. That kind of life is unimpeachable. No one can criticize it because you're the same person everywhere. The things I do for God in private, I will also do for him in public. The things I do for myself in private will become clear in public. You can't hide who you're really doing it for. What you're doing, who you're doing it for. Now, for the next part, verse 9, we're going to skip the Lord's Prayer for now. I was doing my research on this and going through my old notes. I put 6 hours of material on the Lord's Prayer. It's too much, probably. I think it's all really good. I'm not going to give you 6 hours of material on this. We're going to skip ahead and read one more thing, and then I'm going to do a certain amount on the Lord's Prayer, and it won't be much, unfortunately. But I'm going to give you guys some stuff to think about. Let's keep moving here. Verse 16. Verse 16, horribly misunderstood thing called fasting. It says, when you fast, not if you fast, when you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show others that they're fasting, like bad actors, right? Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, put oil on your head, right? Moisturize, wash your face, put on a good outfit, so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen. Your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Fasting is a horribly misunderstood practice, and if you've never practiced it before, I really encourage you to, but do it carefully, right? Do it with strict, boundaries and in communication with other people, because it is a beautiful gift that God gives us, but you can do it wrong. It's just like prayer, right? Fasting is body talk. It's doing with my body what my soul is trying to express. My soul is crying out to God in one of my favorite writers calls it a grievous sacred moment. I'm in a moment of sacred grief. And I can't just express that with my soul or with my words. I express that with my body. Maybe you've experienced a loss that's so bad and so heartbreaking that you just couldn't eat. That's the idea behind fasting, right? Not fasting so that I can go get something, but fasting because something has happened and my body needs to respond to it, just like the way my soul is responding to it. QR code here. I did a lesson on this forever ago. Probably do it again. If you're interested in fasting, you want more information, a slideshow is there with a whole bunch of stuff on fasting. I have a book on fasting if you want to borrow it. I got a bunch of stuff, but I just want to leave the door open if you're interested. Fasting is incorporating the body into the cry of the soul. It's called a discipline of removal. By removing food from my everyday time, my life with my everyday life, I'm finding my nourishment in God. When I'm like, ooh, I could really use a Twinkie, I'm like, no, what actually nourishes me? Not Twinkies, right? Even if you're like, I want a delicious chicken pesto sandwich, like that doesn't actually fill me up. Time with God fills me up. Prayer fills me up, right? It dulls my attraction to the material in the instant. It makes the world less attractive to me. It makes my flesh less powerful. It makes my sinful urges less potent, right? All fasting, all real fasting happens in step with prayer and with giving. There's a reason why he puts prayer, giving, and fasting on the same chunk of discourse, right? In fact, Isaiah talks about this. Real fasting involves justice and giving to the poor. Always. Real fasting always involves those things. I think it's super interesting. This slideshow talks about the integration of fasting and prayer and service and all those things kind of being wrapped up in each other. I think it's really cool stuff. I'll probably do something on it at some point. Just stick around long enough. I'll talk about everything at some point. Put an infinite amount of monkeys in a room with an infinite amount of typewriters. They will eventually type out Shakespeare. That's stupid, but it's how I do my preaching. Eventually I'll get to something good. I'm just going to babble and talk until something good comes out. On to the good stuff. We're not going to answer these questions now. Just encourage you to write them down. Think about them this week. One, is it possible to use God to run from God? What does that mean? Use God to run from God? Is it possible to use spirituality and religious practices to avoid talking to God? Weird, right? Intense, but we all do it. I think it's a really interesting idea. The second one here, what might your life look like if you actually thought that you could delight God? If you actually thought that your actions and your thoughts and your emotions and your desires could make God happy, how would you live? What would you do? What wouldn't you do? What would you stop doing? What would you start doing? I think I could actually make God happy, because you can. God delights in us like a parent delights in their children. If I actually believe that, what would my life look like? All right, LP.
Yeah.
Lord's Prayer, verse 9. LP.
Back to my
My
CM days.
Dang, really?
Yes.
That's what
I gotta make some decisions here, folks. Okay, I'm gonna do as much as I can on this, as fast as I can. I'm gonna move too fast. I'm gonna say too much, and you might have to go back and re-listen to this or ask me questions later. But we're gonna ball out until we fall out. This then, verse 9, is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we have also forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Nice. I didn't really intend for you guys to join in there, but that was cool. That was a nice moment. I like when that happens. Four, if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. If you don't do that, he will not forgive your sins. Just a little addendum there from JC. This is the entirety of our faith in 66 words. It's so good, guys. It's so good and so rich, and we could spend 6 hours on it, but we're not going to. I'm just going to give you a few of the highlights here, some things to consider when you pray this prayer. He says, this is how you should pray. When you pray, just do it this way. This was a common thing that students would ask their rabbis. Actually, one of the first things you ask your rabbi is, okay, rabbi, teach me how to pray. Because a rabbi's prayer is their yoke, is their mission statement, their manifesto. Whatever a rabbi tells you to pray is their outlook on the world. So some rabbis would talk about praying about obedience and strict adherence to the guidelines. Other rabbis, their whole thing is about joy and enjoying the world. Other folks were all about like, live a good life so you can go to heaven someday, right? Some people were about justice. That was their yoke. This is Jesus's yoke. This is his manifesto and exactly how we're meant to live and what we should be hoping for in the world. It starts with our Father. And this is incredibly important. We are not talking to a detached divine deity, right? You're talking to a Father who loves us, who knows us, who cares about us. Whatever your relationship with your dad is, that is a version of fatherhood. God himself is the vision of fatherhood. What does a father do? A father sets the house in order. A father makes the rules for the house, he keeps the house safe, he guides the family, right? This is what a real father does. And when we say our Father, we say, God, I acknowledge and understand that the world is your house. This was the Jewish concept at the time. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, right? God, this is your house, and I'm acknowledging you as the ruler and the head of the house. And I'm acknowledging the relationship that we have. There is love, there's forgiveness, there's peace. When we without acknowledging God, we're just worrying out loud. If you just start praying and you don't acknowledge who God is and the relationship you have with him, you're just babbling, you're just talking, right? You're praying about the things that you don't want. This is specific to the nature of our relationship with God. There's respect and love and affection and a home that is in proper order. The next thing he says here is our Father in heaven. Now, a bad reading of this would be our Father who is detached, our deadbeat dad, our Father who's up there and we're down here, and I'm just trying to grasp at whatever you're doing up there. No, the understanding that Jesus has here is heaven and earth are overlapping, right? On earth as it is in heaven. Our Father who is present, our Father who is right here, right now, in a different mode of reality, in a different way of being alive, but he's here. Our Father who is right here presently, hallowed be your name. Honored be your name. Respected be your name. What's the power of a name? Why is a name so powerful in this society? Let me put it this way. Do you guys want to honor your family name?
What was that?
Yeah, right? Your family name means something. I'm a Benton, and this is how Bentons do it. This is how Bentons live. Bentons don't do that. As I'm raising my sons, that's going to be a large part of our discipline. You gotta understand, you're a Benton. You're part of a family, and in our family, we don't treat people like that. In our family, we don't say things like that. In our family, we do this instead. That's not how we do it. We do it like this. We say, honored, hallowed be your name. We're saying, God, I bear your name. Help me to live in such a way that I honor your name. God, I want to honor your name with my life because I carry the name of Jesus with me. I carry the name of God with me. I'm part of God's family, and so I want to represent you well. Hallowed be your name. Because of who you are, turn me towards heaven. Right? Let's keep going. Unless there's anything else I'm missing here that's really, really good. No, let's keep going. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus is not saying here, God, your kingdom's far away, bring it here. saying, God, transform our present reality into your reality. Kingdom's not far off. Jesus says it over and over again, right? The kingdom's here. It's now. It's among you. It's within you. We're begging God in prayer, God, make more of my world like your world. Make more of earth like heaven. Don't let it come into existence. Transform what's already here. Transform my school and my work and my street and my marriage and my heart into your will, your way of doing things. Change our government. Change my parenting. Change the kind of food that I eat and where it comes from. Change my experiences. Change my upbringing. Change the music that I hear. Change the conversations that I have. Change me. Make me like it is in heaven. Displace corruption, displace injustice and institutional evil that exists in our world, and do it your way. This is submission. God, you do it your way. Your kingdom come. Your will be done, because we can't do it ourselves. We're trying to do it on our own and it's not working, God. So you do it. Help me see the ways in which I am complicit in the breaking of the world, and help me to be part of repairing the world. 66 words. This is what we're doing here. This is so much more than what we think it is. The first part here, we're begging, we're asking God, please change the reality that I live in. And then we start talking about how we live in that reality. Things start getting very real and concrete. It starts describing what heaven on earth looks like. The first thing is, give us today our daily bread. We say, God, relieve my anxiety about my needs, because I know that you're the one who provides for me. God, make me less anxious. Anybody ever prayed that prayer before? God, please help my anxiety, help my fear, help my doubts. God, I'm trying to do it all myself. I'm trying to provide for myself. I'm trying to make it all happen myself. You do it. And just give me enough for today, because today has enough worries of its own. God, give me enough for today so that I don't have to worry about my future or my past. Help me to live presently. Help me to live in this moment. What I love here is that it's not polite. God, give me my bread. Please? Anybody? No? We're not going to do that? No, this is not a polite prayer. This is not, oh, God, if you have enough time and you're not busy with, like, I don't know, a genocide somewhere, like, if you get just my daily, no, it's God, give me my daily bread, because I know you're a good father, and if I ask, you're not going to say no to me. It's not a polite prayer, but it's a powerful prayer. God, I'm done over functioning because I submit to your gifts. I'm done trying to make it all happen myself because I submit to your will and your provision. I'm done storing up things for myself and trying to have enough and living in a scarcity world because I believe in your abundance. This is a political statement. When I pray this in front of my governor, in front of my Caesar or a Roman soldier, I'm saying, I don't trust Caesar to provide for me anymore. I don't think Caesar is the guy who's actually running the world. I think God is. I don't think Caesar can actually provide for me. I don't think the president can actually provide for me. I don't think my chancellor or dean or my professor or my boss can actually provide for me. I think God does that. Not me, not them. This is a political statement. That's the present. Then he dips into the past. He says, forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. He says, Lord, please have mercy on me and help me to have mercy. God, help me to make a world where debts are forgiven. These are the realities of the world we live in. Who here has debt right now? I don't, thank God. Most people do, right? You're probably going to at the end of your schooling, right? How many of us are worried about having enough for this day or this week? These are real things, realities that we live in today. This is not some prayer from 2,000 years ago. This is reality right now. And Jesus says, ask for mercy and provide mercy. The reality of God's mercy is incomprehensible. It saturates our lives, but we have no pride to protect. I'm not afraid to ask for forgiveness or afraid to ask for mercy. I'm not too big to ask for help. That's what we say in this moment. We are part of God's work. We're participating in the divine gift of giving and receiving forgiveness. I want to participate in God's economy of forgiveness, where there's always enough for everybody. Last one here. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Some bad theology in here if you read it the wrong way. Oh, God leads me into temptation to test me because he kind of gets bored. I'm like a puppet or a doll. He likes to like mess with me to see what I can put up with. That's awful theology. That's not who God is. The reality is, real life tempts me. Real life, the hardships of life make me want to react and rebel and lash out and get mean and get nasty. This is an awareness of our own weakness. Of course, God protects us from all sorts of temptations and trials, but real life is already tempting me. I don't need God's help with that, right? I'm already tempted to lash out at somebody, to despair, to lust, to get greedy, to get selfish. God, please protect me from these things. Protect my heart from these things. I'm so weak. It's so easy to knock me off course. I've been doing this for 20 years and it's still really, really hard. So God, please protect me like only you can. There's a prayer about the present and then the past and then the future. God, in the future, please protect me from the evil one. We define our relationship with God by owning our frailty, by delighting in our weakness and reflecting God's strength. By asking God for these things, we become more aware of his protective hand and the things that he's doing in this world. When I pray for bread, I recognize that God is the provider. When I pray about debt, I realize that God is the forgiver. When I pray about temptation, I realize that God is the protector. And I have to pray this a lot because I don't always believe it. 66 words. I got 5 hours and 50 more minutes. If you got, no, I'm kidding. A few things here about prayer as we wrap up. Prayer is about living in the real world. All these prayers are about reality. They're not about some lofty theology or about like, God, help me to know about baptismal recognizance, whatever. No, like that's stupid stuff. This is about the real world, God's real world. When I put myself before God, I choose to live in his world, his reality, instead of my own reality, right? My reality sucks. The world as I perceive it is a messy, scary, dangerous place. But in God's reality, it's a garden. It's hopeful. Sneaky. Okay. In prayer, here's something amazing. In prayer, we can influence God. I did it again.
That's an HDMI code, boss.
There it is. In prayer, you can influence God. You can change God's mind. If you don't believe me, check out the life of Abraham. Abraham stands in front of God and negotiates for lives. He's like, God, please don't destroy the city. And he negotiates God's anger down. Moses does this too. Moses negotiates with God. God's like, I'm going to destroy him. Moses is like, no, don't, for the sake of your name. Right? You can change God's mind. But when you do that, when you talk to God, you also open yourself up to be changed by him. Prayer changes our minds, just as we're changing God's mind. Truth is, the entirety of our faith exists in this prayer. Everything we really believe about who God is, what he does, who we are, how we relate to him, what the world is actually about, what life is actually about is in these 66 words. So pray this prayer. Do it a lot. Do it sincerely. Do it often. Do it secretly. Pray this prayer. This prayer, this is the last thing I'll share. As good as this prayer is babbling if you don't live it. If I'm somebody who prays for daily bread and then still tries to provide for myself, tries to do everything my way, it's babble. If I ask for forgiveness and then I don't give forgiveness, it's babble. If I pray for protection from temptation and then just give in to every desire that I have, it's babble. It's only a real prayer if I choose to live it, to provide and forgive and depend on God. This is a work in progress, put it that way. It's a work in progress. Dallas Willard gives his translation to the Lord's Prayer, the Lord's Prayer for modern times. I tweaked it as well. It's the first thing that me and Dallas Willard have ever worked on together. I'm very proud of it. Me and Dallas just going bar for bar. It's just a way of reading the Lord's Prayer that makes a little bit more sense for our lives. Another way of praying this prayer is saying, Dear Father, who is right here with us, who sets the whole world in order, may we honor your name by the way that we bear it. May our goodness be defined by you and not us. May your rule be completed in us, your ways being done here on earth, just like it's done in heaven. Relieve our anxieties. by providing only what we need for today. Since we're truly dependent on you like little children, we are totally dependent on your goodness. And forgive us for the ways we impose on your will and attempt to do it all ourselves. We are committed to forgive all who in any way offend us. Please spare us the trials caused by our own weakness, by making us more like you. Because you are the one in charge, and you have the power, and the glory is yours, which is just how we want it. I'm going to keep praying this prayer until I mean it, until I actually believe it. Some days I do. Some days I don't know if I can pray this prayer. Some days this prayer is too big and too scary for me. It's a terrifying prayer at times, but I think it's really good. This is just a version of it. All kinds of people have put out their versions of it. But this is what it means to speak to God, to talk with him and not talk at him. This is the embodiment of our faith. There's this Jewish idea of a, you know what I'm talking about?
Candelabra.
No, it's close though. You're actually not that far off.
Menorah.
Essentially, I'm forgetting the word right now. I probably look like a, who cares how I look, right? Your reputation doesn't matter. This idea that within the Jewish scriptures and certain chunks of scripture, there's something right in the middle. Chiasm. There it is. Chiasm.
Candelabra,
chiasm.
no way close.
You actually got me there, which is bananas. The chiasm is this idea that scripture works like a sandwich. And so everything on the front half reflects everything on the back half. The first thing you say reflects the last thing you say. And in the middle of the chiasm is the most important thing. The Lord's Prayer is at the dead center of the Sermon on the Mount. It's the thing that Jesus deems most important. It's the heart of the whole thing. And you can't understand anything else in the Sermon on the Mount or in Jesus' ministry if you don't understand this. So a few things for you to do. Homework. First thing is to pray this prayer. Lord's Prayer. Pray it. Go on Bible Gateway and find 10 different translations of it if you get bored. Pray a piece of it every day. Just pray for bread. Take a whole day where you just pray for your daily bread. That's all I'm going to pray for. And then the second day, I'm just going to pray for forgiveness. Give me the strength to forgive people. That's enough for one day, right? Praying for protection from temptation is a long day, but it's a good day, right? Pray this prayer daily, slowly. Pray it together with people. Don't pray it alone. Pray it with other people and pray it secretly. Pray it in such a way that it's not for anybody else. It's just for God. Second thing I want to challenge you to do, commit a good act in secret. Do something that would genuinely help or encourage somebody else that you're going to get no credit for, right? Do something that maybe even that person won't know that you're the one who did it for. But think about that. Secrecy is this practice that I think is really beautiful. And the more you do it, the more you want to do it. It's cool stuff. Last thing is to try fasting. Try fasting if you're up for it. This is a stretch goal, so to speak. I'm not actually asking everybody, make sure you fast this week or else you're not going to get called on it. But it's a practice that if you've never done before, I think is really powerful and beautiful. I'm going to put that QR code up again about fasting. Start where you are. Maybe you fast from a meal. Maybe you fast from 2 meals, or you fast from coffee, or I don't know. There's a lot of different. Abstain from coffee. You're right. Abstain, whatever it is, right? But start somewhere, try it out, and see what it means to depend on God in a new way. Next week is the big one, in my opinion. I think it's the best and most important thing for this group in this season. Is it the best thing Jesus teaches? I don't know. I don't think so. It's not the one that hits my heart the hardest. But for this group, I think it's the most powerful thing. It's wealth. We're talking about wealth next week. And what wealth is and what wealth isn't.
Is it this week?
This upcoming Tuesday.
Next week.
Next week, Tuesday. Tuesday. That's all she wrote. There's QR code about fasting. And that's that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
My treasure in heaven. My treasure in heaven's gone. Bye, Piper. And Rob's who's going to watch this later. And anybody else is going to watch it later. See ya.